President David Granger holds the view that students must be prepared for the world of work. As Guyana's economy continues to grow at a rapid pace, this can prove daunting for recent secondary school graduates with little or no practical experience. The Government of Guyana has been helping combat youth unemployment through the Ministry of Education's Work-Study program, a 5-week internship for 5th and 6th form students. This is a special edition of Government in Action, co-produced by the Public Information and Press Services, PIPS, Public Relation Intern, Ms. Shania Madramuthu of the Bishop's High School.
On this week's Government in Action, we learn about this program and hear from students who just last week completed 5 weeks of work study, giving them a glimpse into the world of work.
Shania has been a most valued addition to PIPS, and for the past 6 weeks, she has been able to gain real public relations experience as part of our team. Here's what she had to say about her own work-study experience.
So, on this job, I've learned I had to keep up with current affairs, something that I never did much of before. I read the newspaper every morning, every day, and I had to keep up with the ministers and heads of departments and their activities. At first, when I first came here, I went with other communication officers on their assignments where they had to cover ministers, heads of departments, and eventually I got to do my own assignments. When I came back to office, I had to write up the press release and pick pictures for the uploads. I dabbled in some photography. I had to learn the basics of it because I never did it before. I got to do photography for an assignment, and my pictures were picked for the uploads. That was exciting. I also learned to do how to conduct interviews professionally, and learning to speak with people I've never met before, and getting the information that I need from the interviewee. When I got my first interview, it was actually with the president. It was sprung on me, I didn't know. I went over to just observe the interview, but then I ended up doing it, which was nerve-wracking. I also interviewed the First Lady. My picture actually got picked for the front page of Chronicle newspaper for the interview with the president. That was also exciting. The staff here were very, very welcoming. They taught me what I needed to know. Whenever I had questions, they were willing to answer. And they made sure to look out for me on assignments, especially on those out of town. Whenever something big happened, like when I interviewed the president and when the picture got on the front page of the newspaper, they were genuinely happy for me and genuinely excited for me. It is important that students become both educated and skilled and are regularly given the chance to combine theory and practical. This is part of the President's vision for youth in Guyana. District Education Officer Mr. Sherman Blackman said the work-study program does just that. Mr. Blackman, a former work-study intern himself, said that the program can even point unsure students in the direction of their future careers.
A work-study is basically an opportunity for our students who have just completed the CSEC examinations to be afforded an opportunity to go to organizations where they have a sense of what happens in that environment, whichever organization it is, but also an opportunity for them to pick up best practices on the job, which is normally runs for a 5-week period. I think it's a good juncture for them to truly understand their career paths. We find that many persons, they might have had a dream that they want to be a doctor, they want to be some scientist or something. But having this experience, it really provides that true opportunity for them to study understand if that's really the career path that they want to pick up. But also it provides them with the kinds of skills that even though they might be going to further their studies after, it still gives them a kind of jump start to life.
Mr. Blackman said that the program has proven beneficial for both the students and the institutions in which they intern.
Well, we've had students, first of all, I think, who've managed to gain employment as a result of being on work study. So I think that's one of the biggest celebrations we can have in terms of being on the program. But also, children have the opportunity to interact with persons, be it at the workplace, in some cases the organization, it might be where they have to have face-to-face contact with persons. So it develops their skills in terms of communication also. It really helps them to mature, because I think coming out of high school, many times, they still find the time to play a lot. And to be in an environment where you're socializing with adults, you actually have an opportunity to truly be able to move to that next level. But I think also that the persons being on work study also bring a lot to the table, because talking with some of the students, you recognize that they're actually able to contribute their skills to improving whichever section or organization they would have worked at. So I think holistically, it has a benefit for both sides.
Mr. Blackman continued, advising students on making the best of their work-study experience, as well as encouraging upcoming students to apply for work-study when the time comes around.
I would want to encourage them to ensure that they are, of course, there on punctually. Also to ensure that they learn as much as they can. They take the opportunity to really write the right resume, because I would say to them, this is the first opportunity you have to put some working experience there. And if you can do that and do that well, persons will of course give you the kinds of recommendations that you would like later on. So you can actually go back to these organizations and get a recommendation for the job, especially of course you have done that excellent job. I encourage them also to ensure that they're very honest, hardworking. They try to stay away from the gadgets while they're at work, because sometimes you can become distracted, and that also may cause you not to be able to produce the quality of work that is expected, but also to ensure that they ask as much questions as they can, because the idea is to truly understand the organization while you're there, regardless of whichever section they're placed.
Mr. Blackman also urged students to take advantage of the program's very simple application process to earn a place at one of 40 government and private sector institutions for their internship. We spoke to a few of this year's students who shared their experiences and journeys of hands-on work in their respective organizations. They gave us direct insight on how they have benefited from the work-study program.
I choose to apply for work study so that I get the experience of working in an organization, so that when I'm actually employed, it would be easier on me to adapt.
I've always loved working behind computers since I was young. Everything I did always surrounded technology. So when I was given the opportunity to do a work study that allowed me to be behind a computer, I took it up right away.
I chose to apply for work study because maybe it will give me a more experience of what I'm about to go into, which is the world of work.
The interns explained that the program is not one where participants are not put to work, but rather they were able to learn real skills in a professional environment.
When I first came to work study and they told me that I'd be helping them manage the Ministry of Education website, that they would be a constant, I thought it would be a constant chore, something that when you do every day, it'd be something different every day. And from my imagination, I would thought it would have to be a lot of programming, a lot of script and code. But after actually coming into the workplace and doing it, I realized that it was a schedule.
Working along with each persons, because in this department you have an officer you have to work along with in order to teach you how the work is being done. So practically I've learned how to work along with other persons.
Because again, enough knowledge on how the court operates, I've learned how to deal with people I've learned how to file mails. I learned how to dispatch mails properly. I've learned how to use the index. I've learned about filing punctuality reports on courts within Guyana of each district. I've also had the opportunity to go to the public service commissions, the Luzignan prison, GRA, and even NIS.
The work-study program helps students to break out of their shells, gaining confidence, professionalism, as well as knowledge that would help them in their futures.
In terms of how I work, my schedule, what I have to do on a daily basis, I do believe that it is teaching me how to be on time, how to get my work done, how to be vigilant in doing the same thing every day.
Okay, it has helped me to prepare myself in the work environment by being mature and how to relate to others and how you should be able to work and to put myself in an adult position to show how to be a better person and to work along with your goals and not to fall back on them.
It is a very beneficial experience because I've learned a lot.
Although some students were assigned to positions outside of their ideal career choice, they continue to encourage other students to apply for the program as the benefits far outweigh the disappointments.
For anybody else that would like to do this as well, I would say that you shouldn't overthink it. It is something that you learn through time and progress, and there are always people who are there willing to teach you the ropes as you go along.
All I would say is that it's a great experience. It's a great program for you to like come into and like be a part of, because it's a very good experience. It teaches you a lot, especially as a teenager. For me, it has been a great experience, and maybe for others it will also be a great experience.
I think students should apply for work study so that they gain the experience, so it'll be easier on them when they are actually employed.
For those students on the second batch, I would advise that you be open-minded. Don't be afraid to ask questions because there are always people willing to answer you. And make the best out of these 5 weeks because you never know where it can take you. The Government of Guyana continues to ensure that young people are given their best chance to become contributors to Guyana's economy.
The work-study program facilitated by the Ministry of Education is just one of the methods used to achieve that vision.
Until next time, this has been Government in Action. I'm Shania Madramuthu.
And I'm Grace Williams. Have a good week.